Yeah, let's go. I'm ready. I don't know. You're going to find that this is probably the most boring podcast you've ever done.
No, we've anytime I interview Alex, that's boring. That's like the boringest. All right, cool. I'll start recording here. And Brian, if you can record on your end,
I am.
as a backup, that'd be
Yep.
okay. Hey everybody, welcome Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast, and I'm with Alex today. Alex, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing real good, really good. I am. The weather's gorgeous outside right now, isn't it?
Yeah. I was working off of my back porch area where the weather is awesome and the view of the water is great, and looking forward to spring as it's around the corner.
It is, and in fact, all of our stuff is blooming about a month early.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? They just don't know what to do. These plants.
Well, my wife and I are a little worried because you never know, it could freeze again. But cool. So how's real estate been going for you, Alex? You working on any deals right now?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I ran into a deal the other day. I sent kind of a guy I'm experimenting as like acquisitions manager. I sent him out on a house. And then I went, after he got under contract, I went back and looked at it, and had a rat infestation of the worst kind I've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, I looked in the attic and there was just rat droppings everywhere. So we're trying to figure out.
Did he miss it? Did your acquisitions guy miss it? Did he not know about that?
No, because he didn't look in the attic or in the crawl space, which is not customary usually on a first appointment. You know, you're not like, okay, let's go look at the attic, or let's get the crawl suit on and go into the house. So we had a guy go out there to check for termites, and he said, well, they're looking like a lot of rat droppings here, so I'm not going to be able to inspect a lot. But so we got a remediation price, and actually went back to the seller and said, hey, obviously this isn't something that we are expecting you have to do. And he basically covered the price of that. So I'm probably going to rehab the house because it's in a good area, and it's not in bad shape. So, I could probably wholesale it and make 15, or rehab it and make 45. And in this market, I think I'll just go for the rehab.
Cool. Good for you. You might even make more than that. Prices are appreciating pretty good out there, aren't they?
Right. You never know,
Cool. The reason why I always ask you first, like what's been going on with real estate, because it gives me time to think about what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, you got it's a stall tactic. I see it for what it
is. Things have been quiet lately for us. Although I did just get a text, 2 emails yesterday. My local wholesaler, the way we do it is I send out the marketing, my VA pre-screens the leads, and then I work with a local wholesaler, and that wholesaler will work the leads once they come in, right?
Right.
And so he just emailed me yesterday 2 deals. One of them, he said, hey, I can pay you if we're going to buy it and rehab it. So you can, and we've discussed this in the past, so I've told him, listen, any deal that you want to keep in rehab, just pay me what I would normally make on a wholesale fee.
Right.
And he's agreed to that. And I trust this guy. He's a really good guy. So he said, listen, we're going to buy this property. Yeah. And we're going to rehab it, and you can either get 30% of our profit after the rehab or just $5,000 now. And knowing this deal in the area, I'm happy to make $5,000 now.
Sure.
And because the rehab, I might make anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 would be my profit out of the rehab.
So the 6,000 on a rehab.
No. Well, that's my 30%, right?
Okay.
So this rehab in this area, it's only like $125,000 house fixed up.
Okay.
Right. It's in the lower end. So they would be making about 20 to 25 grand in profit after they buy it, fix it up, and sell.
Sure.
30% of that would be about $6,000.
Right.
So anyway, so I just decided I'd rather take my money now and run.
Absolutely.
So quick nickel versus the slow dime. And then another email later that same day, they're wholesaling a deal. The profit is $5,000, and I get 2,500 of that. So those two good emails. So we're averaging about 2 to 4 deals a month.
Yeah.
This little system we put on, and it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Then on the land side, that's going crazy right now. It's going really well. We've actually stopped marketing because we've got so many lots under contract. We're trying to sell them all right now, and we don't buy them until some of them we buy, but most of them we don't buy until we sell. Right, we do a double close, and so that's been going cool. What's interesting is a lot of these buyers, though, as they're doing their own due diligence, they're seeing that we're not on title, and they're calling us with concerns like, "Hey, I thought you were." So in that case, we'll go ahead and buy it and then sell it in advance. But we're buying these lots for anywhere from $400 to $2,000, and we're selling them anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000.
Okay.
So they're vacant lots in the middle of nowhere, Colorado and Oregon. Right now is where we're looking at, and it's going good. It's going really good, actually. I'm excited about it. But enough about us. We have a special guest.
What about our guest? Yeah.
We have a special guest on the show. His name is Brian Trippe. And I met him through a workshop that a friend of mine, Sean McCloskey, and I did recently. And but Brian and I, we also go back further than that. I've known Brian for a while. He's an active investor in the Alabama market. And Brian, are you there?
I'm here. You might have to go back and edit my name. You didn't even say my name right. Come on, Joe.
No, Trippe.
There you go.
Oh, doggone it. I'm sorry. It looks like Trippe, but it's Trippe. I'm so sorry, Brian. I knew that.
I've got that silent E on the end. It messes everybody up.
I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain with the name.
Yes, sir.
So Alex gets it all the time. Alex Joungblood.
Don't even say. Yeah. Starts with a J, pronounced as a Y.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian.
No, you're good.
But I did get the Alabama part right?
No, man, I'm from. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. I've been down here.
Good, I got there.
Yeah, I've been down here since I graduated high school. I'm originally from the Northwest Indiana area near Chicago, and I graduated high school a long time ago and moved down here to go to school, go to University of Alabama, and I just stayed. I love it. I love it down here.
So you're an Auburn fan, right?
Oh, come on, man. You just hurt me. You hurt me. You just like dug a knife down into my heart. I'm a proud alumnus of the University of Alabama. Roll Tide all the way.
Oh boy, let's talk about the football game. What happened?
What happened with what? The championship game?
Yes.
Look. You know, Joe, I tell this to everybody. You can't win them all, man. You can't win it every year.
Alex has no idea what we're talking about.
Football? College?
Yeah.
I'm not really a college football guy, but yeah, no, I think one of the guys at my church was all about it was Clemson and Auburn, right? Or something like that.
Man, I'm telling you, if anybody from Alabama right now is listening to this podcast, they're just rolling over because it's serious business. It's religion down here.
Is it? I'm right? That's the game, right?
No.
It was Clemson and
Alabama.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, yeah, I'm out of touch with the college side.
As soon as you start to mix up Auburn and Alabama, it's blasphemy down here. It's like you're mixing up Jesus with Muhammad or something.
Wow.
It's really bad.
And this podcast is off to a really bad start. So we apologize to all of the Alabama fans.
There you go.
Because I know there's a lot of them out there. I just, I'm so sick and tired of seeing them win all the time that I kind of like digging it in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know this isn't a podcast about football, but when I went to school down there, you're talking about 99 through 04, we were terrible. And so I feel like I deserve this, and being a lifelong Cubs fan, I feel like this is kind of my I know. I know I'm really digging into you a little bit with the Cubs stuff. But
I
listen, the Cardinals have won so much, Joe. It's nice to, for us to Cubs to actually do something.
All right, I deserve that. But Brian, glad you're on the show. Welcome.
Awesome, thank you.
And we will not talk about sports anymore. But talk a little bit about your story, Brian. How did you get started in real estate? How long ago?
Yeah, it really wasn't that long ago. August of 2012. My background, I coached basketball, and I got a job at Troy University, which is about a 2-hour drive from Birmingham, which is where I am now. And I was coaching down at Troy. I was actually driving back and forth before the season started, and I just heard a radio promo that said Rich Dad, Poor Dad was coming to town. I'd read the book many, many years before that, and I genuinely thought, Joe, I genuinely thought I was going to meet Robert Kiyosaki. I was that excited about it. And I went to the thing, and I just, hook, line, and sinker, I bought it. I didn't know anything really about real estate, and that was kind of like how I really first heard about it and got started. I did the 3-day boot camp. Then I bought the bigger package, spent tens of thousands of dollars, and it was, I've learned a lot since then. I've learned a lot, now I would kind of steer people at maybe a different direction, but I can't, knock it completely because I wouldn't even be here without it. So that's kind of how the story started. The initial 3-day boot camp I think it was like $200 that I went to. They taught you a lot of stuff, really kind of like concepts, but not like deep, digging into it like the how-to.
The what, but not the how.
Exactly. And so it's crazy. A lot of people think that this is crazy, but this is late August of 2012. I got my first house under contract within 30 days, and then I wholesaled it, and within 45 days of that 3-day boot camp, and made $10,000. That's how on fire I was for real estate. It was just like a passion that I never knew existed inside of me. And again, I hadn't done any of their classes or actual training that I had bought yet. I just wanted it so bad, and I wanted to make that money back so bad that I just spent a lot of money on. I just got married, and so just to kind of prove that. But the problem was right after that, I had to go down to Troy. So we closed on that house the 1st of October. If you know anything about basketball, the first day of practice is October 15th. And so I was down in Troy for the next 6 months. I didn't do anything with real estate until the next spring.
Wow. Okay, so then were you basketball coaching full time? Was that your job?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of been in a really fortunate situation. I got married. My wife had a great job. I went back and got my master's degree at UAB, where I did some graduate assistant work there. The coach got fired the year I was there, and so the next coaching staff came in.
What is UAB?
UAB, the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Okay.
So that coach left, and I was kind of left without a place to go, without a job. So I just kind of called around locally. And I got on with a Division I coaching staff down in Troy. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from Birmingham. And I stayed down there. And that was kind of how.
Wow.
I had done AAU basketball, just kind of did high school stuff. I went back and got my master's in education so I could teach English. But I was doing that on a college level, making, $6,000, $8,000, $12,000 a year. And obviously, we all know that that's not really sustainable. You can't really support a family doing that. And I was chasing a dream. And when this real estate thing came along, I just realized I needed to stop chasing a dream and actually, take our lives seriously,
So you were making $6,000 to $12,000 a year
as a Division I college basketball coach and adjunct English professor. Yes.
Wow, I know. So how can they justify that? I don't get it.
It's the business really is. It's really a lot like real estate, to be honest with you. It's who you know. It's a lot of networking. To get a really great job, you've got to pay your dues. You got to do that grunt work, and that's what I did, and that's what I thought I wanted to be and thought I wanted to do, and so I was willing to accept that. and it just, it would have taken so long to get to a point to where I could make any kind of decent money. And really what changed for me, I think everybody kind of has a moment in their lives that where something changes, where, just being completely honest with you guys, I was the 30-year-old before I got married. I was the 28, 29-year-old living in my dad's basement playing video games until 4 in the morning, not really caring, not having a whole lot of accountability, and so I think people are who they are, and you don't just change. Something really tragic or crazy has to happen to you to change. And for me, that was in 2012. I had done that first real estate deal. I got really on fire, but I was down in Troy, and my wife, who has just a phenomenal job, makes a lot of money, called me up, bawling her eyes out, and said she hated it. She hated her job. She wanted to quit. And that was kind of the switch for me, where it's just like, I got to stop chasing this basketball thing. I really need to I think real estate can be the vehicle. I really need to take it seriously and do it. And long story short, where I am today, we just had our second kid, and my wife just now quit her job, and she's not going back.
Wow.
And again, that's a really, really huge income to replace. She was a pharmacist, a really big income to replace. And, it's just we're to that point where, finally I was able to make that happen for her. And just that's been my why. That's been the reason why I do what I do, work as hard as I have been. And here I am.
I've seen pictures of your little baby, and congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
so awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to make a really stupid joke about college education and what it did for you living out of your parents' basement. But wow.
But it's the truth, Joe. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about a lot of different things, but don't even get me started on college. I mean, I have three degrees, and I have a journalism degree and an English degree and a master's in education. So I do actually use like writing. I do a lot of writing skills are very important, and speaking skills, like you guys know, are very important. But to spend all that money and that time, it was just a complete waste. And
well, could you get those things without going to college, you think? A lot of us go back and we say, oh, I don't even use my college degree and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But could you get those skills without going to college, without putting in the motions?
I think, Alex,
it's kind of interesting, because I think about as I'm raising my kids, right? And I tell my kids, or I'm thinking, my kids are watching me, and they're like, okay, Daddy doesn't cut the lawn. Well, why doesn't Daddy cut the lawn? Because Daddy doesn't cut the lawn because he could do other things and make more money with his time than cutting the lawn, right? So then your kid looks at you and he says, when you say, hey, Eric, go clean your room. And then he tries to find a way to get his brother to clean his room for him instead, right? He's trying to outsource it, It's almost like, though, you have to be careful. Like, you have to pay your dues. You have to put that time in.
Right.
And you have to put that effort in and that work in, or else the other stuff doesn't work. We can raise a very lazy child if we're not careful, because we can say, well, you need to find somebody else to do that for you, or, and so it's made me say, maybe I should go cut the lawn again. Maybe he should see Daddy put in some sweat. Maybe he should see Daddy put some manual labor in, because that will instill some of that good stuff in him. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I think it comes back to self accountability and discipline. And so you asked the question, like, about college, was it worth it? Would I still have those skills? Could you get those skills elsewhere? I kind of equate it to, buying a personal residence with a 30-year mortgage, where people say it's kind of like a forced savings account, or 401k. It's a forced savings account. Well, if you're better with your money, if you're good with your money and disciplined, same thing with this education piece. If you're disciplined, then you can go out and you can make a better income with your money, investments with your money, whether it's real estate or whatever, versus something that's tied to the stock market that you can't even get access to until you're 59 and a half years old. And so
Right.
I think that it's kind of the same thing. Yes, I think you can get those skills outside of college, but it's going to come down to college kind of forces you to be accountable and gives you a grade and makes you do homework and makes you do this stuff. So I don't know. Like
Well,
I kind of had
that's
those, writing skills before I went to college. I mean, I was, the editor of our yearbook, and I was involved in our high school newspaper and all that stuff. So I was always into writing and English skills before that. So I could have done a lot of other things to develop it. Nowadays, if you're a kid, you got a blog. You can have a blog. You can do a lot of other things with mediums that weren't really accessible to me when I was growing up.
it's cool. Talking about all that in context.
Yeah.
Just got back from this ClickFunnels conference, right? And it's called Funnel Hacking, and it was kind of an internet marketing conference, but not just internet; it's marketing conference, and it was really, really good. And Tony Robbins was there. I got to get my picture with him at the end. But anyway, there were two kids there that spoke.
Yeah.
And they were talking. The one kid was like, there's a girl. Her name is Emily. She's 12, I think, 12 or 13, and another kid named Caleb, who's probably 15 now, 14 or 15. Emily has done over 100 grand in sales from writing these simple ebooks, and she advertises and markets them online. No, that's revenues, that's sales, that's not profits. And then this guy Caleb has done over $1 million selling. He does a lot of motivational videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and he's been on Gary Vaynerchuk's show and all kinds of, like, all over TV. This guy's really well known and famous. But both of these kids are homeschooled, and but they both have written. Well, Emily's only written one book. Maybe she's working on her second right now. This other kid, Caleb, has written 3 or 4. But they're very good at articulating, and they're very good at writing. And those kids, I doubt they're going to go to college, but they might. But what's interesting is thinking about that in terms of my kids. Like, in fact, when I was eating lunch with people, everybody was talking about, like, man, my kids could never do that. It makes me feel like I'm a bad parent or something. But my attitude is more like, all right, so how can I train my kids to be entrepreneurial like that before college? How can we help them to become better writers, to be able to articulate themselves better? And already one of my sons, I was talking to him the last couple of days, he wants to write a book on how to survive in the woods. And he's never slept in the woods in a survival situation. But you know what? He wants to write a book about it because he thinks it's so cool. And so I'm helping him with that right now. And going to YouTube, we're finding, like, I've made him, he came up with like 5 different topics of what he wants to talk about. And we're finding really good videos about that on YouTube. And he's going to write a book, and we're going to sell it for $5, maybe $10 or something like that. So anyway, I don't know why I thought of that.
No, that's good. Well, it's teaching your kids how to kind of operate in this new, not new, but in our current commerce, right? I mean,
people are going to be either producers or consumers.
That's it. Producer or consumer. Very, very, very important.
And I think, Brian, what you're saying is you figured out that you don't want to be a consumer, right? And maybe the same with your wife. That's why she hated her job so much.
Yeah.
It's always better to be the producer. The producers always make more money than the consumers do. And so now you're well on your path to being a producer, and that's cool. It's an interesting conversation we're on here. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to tie it back into kind of real estate investing, I mean, I think it's anything. It's really any kind of business. I think that goes back to, like, that discipline and that self accountability that just most people don't have that. They just don't have that mentality. I didn't have it, and I had to. It's like a skill. You have to learn it. You have to learn discipline, and it starts with something that's so simple and mundane as just, like, maybe making your bed, like just staying consistent with it every single day. It just creates a discipline in you, and that, like I said, I never had that, and I was kind of forced into that, and I think that's where That's why I was able to be a little bit successful with real estate. That's why I'm able to be a little bit successful with the RIA that we started and stuff like that. It's discipline, it's hard work. It's not taking, it's 14, 15, 16 hours working every single day to make sure that you're doing things the right way and building a business. And that's it.
Especially now that you have kids.
No question.
Changes everything.
Changes it all.
Which is awesome. Good. So let's talk about the deals that you're doing today, Brian. So you've been pretty much full-time in real estate since 2013, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, 2013. I got back from Troy in that spring, and then I kind of dabbled with it. I actually bought a 6-unit. It was the first thing I ever did. Because for me, I didn't ever really want to wholesale. I wanted passive income. I felt like that was the key to early retirement, all this stuff. And so I bought a 6-unit, paid cash for it, off of some of it with, a line of credit, some of it with the wholesale revenue that we had just done. And I spent a year of my life trying to fix this thing up, get it rented out, and just kind of realize that things weren't happening as quickly as I thought they should. And that's when it was actually the next spring of 2014 where I officially launched was Alabama Cash Deals, which is a house buying, is a wholesaling company really. And in less than 3 years, from spring of 2014 until really the fall of 2016, about 2.5 years, we did over $500,000 in wholesale revenue. And I learned a lot through that. I've started a brokerage, 205 Realty. 205 is our area code down here. And then, I've built those 2 businesses up to where they kind of sustain without me. And now I'm 100% focused on the RIA. I started a RIA we launched in January down here in Birmingham. And so that's kind of how I do things. I've got that rich dad mentality in me where I know everybody talks about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, but part 2, Rich Dad Poor Dad Part 2, which is Cash Flow Quadrant,
it's a better book. I like that.
It's my favorite book, and it really teaches you how to, and along with the Michael Gerber stuff, the E-Myth, those books teach you how to build a business, and it teaches you kind of the difference between, having a job, owning a job, and actually being a business owner where you could, pick yourself up out of the business for a month or 2 and it still runs and makes money. So I've done that successfully with 2 businesses, and now I'm on to my 3rd. And this RIA, I'm 100% focused on it. It takes up all my time right now, and that's all I'm doing, and I love it.
So you're still wholesaling deals,
yes,
right? How is that running without you right now?
So I had it at the apex of it in 2015. From about the spring of 2015 till late fall, winter of 2015, about 9 months, it was a machine. It was spending $10,000 to $15,000 a month in marketing. We were on TV, we were on the radio, had billboards, did tons of direct mail. We were doing everything. Had people hanging up bandit signs. I built a call center in my office. Had a 4-station call center. We were taking 150, 200 calls a day, and at the end of all that, I think we grossed around 200,000 in that span of time. And at the end of all,
big operation for 200 grand.
I know, and that's kind of what I learned. What I learned is our market here, for me, maybe I didn't build it the best way. I'm not sure, but for our market, where there's about 1.1 million people metro in Birmingham, it just didn't sustain. Our average deal was only around $4,500 to $5,000, but we were doing 10 or 12 of them a month. I mean, we were doing some big volume. I had a lot of people on pay just commission, getting commission. I had virtual assistants. I had obviously wage employees making per hour, just taking phone calls, setting appointments. And what I kind of learned through all that is I didn't net a whole lot, obviously, through all that. But what I learned is I could scale it way back and kind of make the same thing and have way less of the headache. And that's me. I think, I listen to what you guys do. I listen to Joe, especially you. I listen to what you guys do. And I tried it. It's just for me and maybe my personality, maybe our market. I'm not sure. I've never been able to make that thing work. I tried.
Well, we don't have big operations set up either. Well, we've got an office and a call center
Right.
and a this person and a that person and a this person. We don't have all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not there.
Well, that's what I tried, and that's what I tried to build it to be a really big business, and just the net profit at the end of the day just wasn't there. And I'm essentially, we're doing only a couple, 2-3 deals a month right now, and our profit per deal is more.
What are you spending in marketing to do that?
About $3,000 a month. And
what are you targeting?
It's just very, very simple. We only do postcards. That's all we do now. We don't do really anything. I mean, I've got the website. We get some leads on our website. But really, we only throw money at direct mail, at postcards, and we typically just send to the same list that most people send to. We send to absentee owners. We send to probate. We get a lot of free lists by doing public information requests and stuff like that. And so that's what we do. And I actually don't even do a whole lot of it. So I've got all I have is a manager, and he's in charge of everything. And I'll sell the deal when he gets a contract, and I'll go and find the buyer, which I already have. It's a text message, and it's just really easy. And I don't spend a whole lot of time on that at all anymore. And I make about 50%.
There you go.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that's good. It's cool that you know your numbers. Most people don't. They don't know their numbers, and they just know I'm doing a lot of deals. But when you sit down at the end of the day and look at it, like, what are you actually keeping?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people will be really, really shocked. It's embarrassing. All this hard work, and I only get to keep like 35-40% of it.
Yeah, I talked to somebody local, and they were telling me, their average deal size is like $10,000 or $12,000, but yet the amount they have to cover each month is like $80,000 a month is what they have to cover in order to cover salaries, and cover marketing, and overhead. And I just about vomited. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah. And Alex, ours was about 20. Ours was about 20,000.
Yeah.
And we all know if you only do one deal, or maybe even a month, you don't do a deal at all. I mean, that was really what happened in, October of 2015. We crushed it. And then November, December, January, we did like 2 deals. But I've still got my overhead.
If you have a $20,000 a month overhead, you're going to spend $60,000.
Yeah.
With nothing to show for it.
Exactly. And that's what it was, just a really rude awakening for us and for me, and just decided right then and there I'm scaling way, way back. There's got to be a better way to do this. I think that's really when I started to connect with Joe and start to really get a little bit of help and advice and try to understand, how I needed to do it, what I needed to do, and just scaled it way back. But my end game has always been rentals and passive income. That's always been my thing. And I know we're kind of running out of time, I know, but in late 2015, December, I bought a big mobile home park here locally that I love. It's the best investment I've ever made.
Wow.
I bought a big commercial building where actually my office is. So I'm kind of into that right now. And then I've got some single family houses as well. I'm more into the passive income, the rental side. That's kind of my end game. That's kind of where I want to end up.
What could you mind sharing? What are your goals for the passive income? How many doors do you want? How much income do you want?
It's it's more income based. Right now I'm at around 10,000 net off of 70 something doors that I have.
Now, do you manage those yourself?
I actually do, which is crazy.
But you have an assistant that manages it.
I've got a mobile home park that makes up 59 of my units, and I've got an on-site maintenance man who really kind of acts as the first line of defense, kind of like a property manager would. And then I'm like I said, my office is in this strip mall that I have. And so if there's ever anything going on, tenants know that they can come right down and see me. And I just kind of outsource it from there if something needs to be fixed. And then I've got like I've got 8 single family houses now. And I kind of subscribe to the theory, if you rehab them the right way on the front end, you're not going to have a whole lot of problems on the back end. So I manage everything myself, and it really doesn't take that much of my time.
Nice. So you're at $10,000 net cash flow. That's phenomenal. Good for you, man.
That's freedom right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And
Let's talk about your RIA.
Yeah. Go
Why
ahead.
did you decide to start a local real estate investing club?
Well, I told you my background earlier that, I've got a master's in education. My dad's a teacher. His dad was a teacher. My whole family, I come from just a family of just tons and tons of teachers. And I've always had that in me. And last spring, not quite a year ago, I just, meetup.com, went and just started like a little meetup. And it's just learn real estate investing. So I just had kind of a heart and passion for teaching brand new people how to get started, their first steps, and to get started in real estate. And I think the first one we had, it was on a Saturday morning, one time a month. The first one I did, I think there were 4 people came. And then the next one after that, maybe 10 or 12. And then we just kind of grew it to where we're getting around 20, 25 people. And then, October rolls around, and I met up with you, with Joe and Sean, and you guys kind of helped me plan it in my mind. Why not just grow this thing and just start a RIA? Because we had one already. I don't talk bad about people and what they're doing. It's just kind of the older guard, the older type of real estate investor, not really a whole lot of creative. So I just felt like there was a need for another RIA, and I got the support of a lot of the local investors that had been doing a lot of deals. Just got their support and started it, and we had 75 people at our first meeting, which I thought was pretty good. The room only held 100. So it looked like it was packed, and and I spoke, and I've got speakers lined up through June. Your good friend Claude Diamond is coming to Birmingham in June.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're lining up some really cool speakers to come, and just gotten just tremendous feedback, and I do workshops that are really, really dirt cheap. I mean, they really just cover the cost. It's like a beginner workshop, and I do coaching out of it. I just get a couple of coaching students per month, and that's kind of how I've been able to monetize it a little bit. But really, I'm playing the long game with anything and everything I do business wise. I always play the long game. I think that it's important to invest into you and invest into what you're doing. And so I don't sit here and ask people, nickel and dime people, and constantly ask people for stuff. I give content. I have a daily real estate show that's on our Facebook and YouTube pages. We started a podcast as well, and we're just doing all these other things to help bring content and bring education to Birmingham at an affordable price.
That's awesome. So is this opening up doors for you to partner with students on deals, or to lend money on deals, things like that?
Absolutely, and that's the the perception is, whether it's true or not, people don't, if you come to a RIA, you don't know who the guy is at the front of the stage, but they're the guy at the front of the room. And the perception is they know what they're doing, they've got it going on. And just because of that, people think that I'm now the authority when it comes to real estate in Birmingham. And it's been really, really cool to see these opportunities just open up out of nowhere. People calling me, emailing me, texting me just out of the blue saying, hey, I've got this deal. And it may not be something I want, but I know I can help them wholesale it. So just doing little joint ventures like that, I've already seen, a lot come back. But I just think that that's the mentality that I have as a business person. It's my number one core business belief, is that you got to give. You got to be 51% of every relationship that you're in. And if you do that, it's just the natural law of things. It's a natural, principle of life that is just going to come back to you.
Okay. Very good. So you mentioned your podcast. What is your podcast called?
It's called the ALA RIA. That's ALA, ALA for Alabama, ALA RIA, REIA. Masterclass podcast. You can search iTunes for it. It's It's Alabama-based real estate. So if you are listening to this right now and you're in Alabama, I think it's a must download. We've had just some unbelievable guests on that are local to Birmingham.
I love that. I love the fact that you're doing a local real estate investing podcast.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's phenomenal. I wish more people would do that. Because a lot of people are wanting to get into the podcast scene and create their own podcasts. And there's tons of them out there. And I think there's not enough podcasts that are local to your market. You're not going to get as big of an audience, Brian. You already know this. But the audience that you have, they're going to be much bigger fans of your podcast than they are of ours, for example, which covers more national stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that was kind of the point of it. I think we're on episode 9 right now, and we've only had about 700 downloads. So that's definitely not sexy at all. But it's just more content, and it's local content.
Got to start somewhere, right?
And we've had some rock stars Birmingham real estate guys that are just crushing it. We've had them on our show, and it's just been really, really, really good information for our local market.
No, that's phenomenal. That's going to grow. It's going to continue to grow as the word gets spread. But I'm telling you, if an investor is wanting to get into real estate and they're looking at 2 podcasts, Real Estate Investing Mastery or Alabama Real Estate Investing Masterclass, which one do you think they're going to listen to?
I don't know, Joe. You've become pretty much you've become a national figure now. You're a celebrity.
Appreciate that, but it's not true.
It's totally true.
I'm glad you're doing that, Brian. I think that's really, really good. You're focusing local, and you don't have to share the audience. You don't have to share the stage with anybody in Alabama. In a certain sense, like there's probably 30, 40 real estate investing podcasts at least right now out there, right? So that's cool. Good. So if people want to look your podcast up, they go to Alaria.
Alaria, yeah. ALAREIA. You can, if you search that in the iTunes box or wherever you download podcasts, we'll pull right up. You can email me if you want to get in touch with me personally. You can email me at info@alaria.com. And you can check out our Facebook page. We've got tons and tons of content out there right now, especially if you're local. You can go to facebook.com/Alaria.
Excellent. We can actually go into our stats and see how many listeners we have from Alabama. Did you know that,
yes.
Alex?
Oh, yeah. You can do lots of cool things.
So I'm going to look right now here in just a second. But Brian, what if people want to get in touch with your RIA, look up your Real Estate Investing Club, where do they go to get that?
I think, our website's being built. I don't know when this is going to be released. Our website's getting built out right now. It'll eventually be alaria.com. Again, that's ALAREIA. It's a little confusing to say, but everything's on our Facebook page. Every single thing is on our Facebook page. Our events coming up. We do have a meetup page as well, but all of our all of our content is on Facebook and YouTube right now, and it will eventually be on our website.
Awesome. I'm looking here at Alabama. We've had 14,375 downloads from Alabama.
Alabama.
It's awesome.
Yes. If you all were interested, I could tell you. No, I can't. It's not showing me like the biggest. You could go in here and see which markets it's in Alabama. Oh, here we go. The biggest market in Alabama. Oh, it doesn't say. Yeah. Anyway, that's cool. That's lifetime since we started the podcast in 2011. So then the last 6 years, we've had 14,000 downloads. But
I'm probably about 200 or 300, however many episodes you have.
Right. Well, Brian, thanks for being on the show, man. Is there anything else you want to say? People can reach you at info@alaria.com. They can go to your Facebook page. Sounds like the Facebook page is the best way to reach you, right?
Right now, and then like I said, I don't know when this is going to air, but our website should be completed by around the middle of March, towards the end of March of 2017.
Okay.
So
go ahead and give that one more time.
It's alaria.com. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, and I
Nice,
just
nice.
I can't thank you guys enough. I think what you guys do is incredible. When I very first started in real estate, the first thing I did was I went to iTunes, and I think you guys were the first one that at the top of the charts. And
Wow.
I downloaded it.
Top of the charts.
I think this was 2012. I downloaded it, and I've been listening to you ever since. And I I appreciate everything you do, the advice you guys give, the free content, and I think that that's important. Giving, giving, giving. If people are listening right now, you need to give, 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 give as much as you can, and you're just going to be naturally seen
Yeah.
as an authority. And that's why it's the number one core business belief that I have, and I really do appreciate you guys doing what you do.
Man, we appreciate that very much, Brian. And it's Brian Trippe.
You
Guys,
got it.
not Tripe. Man, I'm so sorry. I knew going into this that I was going to get your last name right. I was telling myself, okay, don't screw up his last name, and I did. I'm really embarrassed. But Brian, thanks for being on the show. I hope people listening to this are encouraged. I know a lot of people listening to this thinking, "Wow, you mean I could start a podcast local to my market?" If you're in Southern California, or let's say you live in California, I would probably do a podcast like on Southern California, right? Probably wouldn't want to do one for the entire state, but if you're in like Alabama, of course, do one for the entire state. But I think, Brian, you're going to be pleasantly surprised as your podcast continues to grow. You're going to do a lot of business with that podcast with people in Alabama. You're even going to find people, Brian, that are out of Alabama but are looking to buy real estate in Alabama, and they're going to start listening to your podcast, looking for turnkey deals.
Yeah.
And that's going to open up a lot of opportunities as well.
Yep.
So good for you, man.
Thanks,
Good for you.
guys.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Guys, if you want
Good
the
call.
show notes. Yeah, it was. Guys, if you want the show notes of this call, the links that we talked about and how to get a hold of Brian, go to realestateinvestingmastery.com, realestateinvestingmastery.com, and you'll get all of our good stuff there. Hey, thanks again, Brian. We'll see you guys later.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Brian, that was really good.
Thank you. I thought it went well, too. Thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So I got to get going. I have a meeting in a little bit here, but we'll talk soon, man. Brian, keep in touch. I'm sorry I screwed up your last name like that.
It's all right.
All right.
It happens, right?
It happens. Good
Cool.
talking to you, Alex.
Hey.
I've never
Hey,
spoken
you
with you
too, man.
before, but it was good to meet you.
You too.
Yeah, man.